Who's there?
You need breakfast.
I'm fine.
I wasn't asking.
Nolan Wright, involved in a car accident, resulting in the death of his wife.
Is there anyone else who can pick you up?
He's just running a little late today.
And severe memory loss.
If this happens again, we're gonna have to notify child services.
I believe that I can reverse your condition.
We should give it a shot, right?
Come with me, please. We call this headset the black box. An immersive virtual pathway to your memories. I like to begin with something I call the safe room. When you push the crown of the watch, you will be in your subconscious. Are you ready?
Rachel. What the hell was in there?
It's your brain trying to protect you from your trauma.
Did things go well with Dr. Brooks today?
I saw my wedding.
That's progress right there.
If that thing shows up again, you just say to yourself, I run my mind, it does not run me.
I run my mind, it doesn't run me. I run my mind. It doesn't run me.
Patients are often surprised by what they remember.
Did Rachel and I live in an apartment?
I don't think so.
The place was really familiar.
You're getting close. Stay with this.
Did we ever fight?
It's not what you think. You would never hurt Rachel.
What's going on?
We're close. I can sense it.
You just need to remember who you are.
I run my mind. It doesn't run me.
Thoughts on the movie?
Wait,
We know
wait,
Lamar.
Josh
We know
was
Lamar
Josh
liked
was all-
it.
Was that
Josh was all right.
You said I would. You said I would like it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I liked it. That's
Oh, okay. I was nervous.
Yeah.
I was nervous.
I thought he was gonna say. You said I was gonna like it. Well, I didn't.
That's what I thought he was gonna say too. That's what I was waiting for.
No, Lamar said that he what did he say? He predicted you would give it a 4 out of 7.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong. I give it a 5
out of 7.
Oh, nice. 5 out of 5. I was correct.
5 out of 5. Wait, what? I don't know about that now.
Initial thoughts of the movie. Lamar, you really liked it because you told us to watch it.
Yeah.
All right, Josh.
I liked it. I think as the film went on, I started to understand what was going on and enjoyed it more. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right into the movie. So this is a Blumhouse. So Blumhouse did Blumhouse do Get Out?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Blumhouse did Get Out. So it's the same production company that did it.
Well, so Josh shouldn't have liked it technically.
I mean,
Since he didn't like Get Out.
I'm not gonna forgive you for that. I'm not gonna forgive you for that.
I gotta listen to that again. All right.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
exactly
it was,
what you said.
And maybe it was one of those things where I just didn't care to defend it as much since I didn't.
That
like
might
it
have
as
been what
much
it
as
was. You didn't
everything.
feel like arguing.
The movie starts out and the character Nolan is watching a home video and he's flipping through a photo album. And then we see him go to get up from the couch and he gets pulled back down and he's being choked from behind.
I thought it started with him waking up.
No, it starts with
so it starts with his dream, basically.
It starts, yeah. So really what it starts with is us watching the home video of him holding his baby and he's crying and a woman saying, "Are you happy?" or something like that. And then it pauses and then it shows him because he's watching it and he's looking at photos.
Right.
Then he goes to get up from the couch. He gets pulled down by 2 hands and it's choking him. And then his daughter wakes him up. So
Okay, yeah, so it was a dream.
Yeah, so that's how it starts. And then, so she says, so his name is Nolan, the daughter's name is Ava. She's like, Daddy, you're having a nightmare, gets him out of it. And then we see all these notes around the house, like reminders, like do this, don't forget to do that and everything. So you were like, okay, so he has some kind of amnesia or something.
Right.
So we see him getting ready and we see her like being like the mom figure, like helping him tie his tie and everything. So what did you guys think? Well, Lamar, what did you think of the little girl?
Oh no, she was cool. She was cool. I know you guys thought I was gonna hate her. No, she was good. With this.
She was really good. Yeah.
She's the definition of a good kid actor. Like just be a kid. She played the right role. She wasn't over the top or none of that. She's good.
Josh, you don't have issues with kid actors. What did you think of her?
No, I thought she was really good.
I don't have. Wait. Don't put that label on me. I don't have an issue with kid actors. If anybody's a terrible actor, I'll say they're a terrible actor. It's not just kids.
I'll say this. I didn't have to cut her some slack since she was a kid. I thought she actually did a good job. Other times I'm a little bit too, soft on kids sometimes because, they're kids.
I don't cut slack because there is this little girl who's available, but they picked that other chubby faced girl to play that role, right? So they could have got her.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
Chubby faced girl.
From
you talking about Utopia?
Utopia. What I'm saying is that's why I don't cut slack. They could have cast this girl because the other girl was terrible.
Well, what if the guy that was directing the girl was bad, didn't really know how to direct kids, but this one, Black Boss, the guy knew how to direct kids. You know what I'm talking about?
Directing a kid and a kid having terrible acting skills is two different things.
I'm just saying that could have been the reason why. I mean, what if she's good at something else?
I would like to see it.
Yeah. But we don't have to. I mean, I'm just throwing out
because then there is Common. There is Common who's in every movie. Are you telling me all of these directors are that bad?
No, Common. He a grown man. That's on him. All right.
And we grew up with the kid from People Under the Stairs. He had different directors too. He's always been good.
It just depends on the kid. Depends on the kid.
She's just horrible.
I do agree. It's maybe not the director's fault. It could be the actors. Like, what's his name from Get Out? Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah. Who's always the same.
That's what he gets paid for. He gets paid for that face.
Well, then that little girl gets paid to act the way she
terrible.
Yeah, there we go. She's making money. She's doing anything, so
I can't hate on her, but she's a terrible actress.
Maybe the director gets fed up trying to make them better, and she's like, you know what, just do you.
Yeah, for real. This is a running series. We got other directors. Yeah. But then again, you're right. It's different directors, and trying to probably teach her like, okay, I need you to stop being such an annoying brat, and it didn't work.
Oh God. Get what you pay for. They didn't have a budget, so whatever. Anyway, back to this.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're getting ready for work and school, and then as they're leaving, we see he gets a voicemail talking about like a study, like asking if he wants to be a part of a research study. And then they're leaving the house. He looks and he sees a hole in the wall that looks like it, a hole's been punched into the wall. So we're seeing all this stuff as they're heading out the door. They get into the car, and a thing that kind of runs through the movie is they have this routine where she throws her arms up and then he buckles her in, and then he starts driving. So one thing I was wondering is, because they showed all the notes and everything, so it's like, okay, amnesia, but how does he remember how to drive was something that.
But there's a lot of how does he remember? Like, how does he remember how to read? There's a lot of how does he remember.
Yeah, so that was something that
I don't think amnesia. I don't think amnesia eliminates everything from your mind. I think it eliminates memories. Because reading is such a muscle memory. It's kind of hard to delete. Or driving the car. It's like it's muscle memory more so than just remembering.
So it's like a memory thing, basically. I mean, driving is kind of like a memory something you remember how to do, but I guess it's also something you do. So if it's like,
because if you think about it, when you drive, you don't necessarily think about it. You just drive.
you just do it, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like you just know how to, like when you read something, like you see people post these things where the letters are unorganized, and they'll be like, if you could read this, then you're insane. It's like your mind automatically. It's like muscle memory. You just remember how to read. It's weird, but
did they say like how long it was since he was in the accident?
Yeah, they say it at a point it was 3 months prior.
Right.
Yeah, it was 3 months prior. So
I mean, I wonder like during those 3 months, did he have like a hard time like remembering, like, you know, the muscle memory? It'll always be there, but like you have to like you still have to like, it's like riding a bike or whatever. You're gonna like, you know, have issues with it, have trouble with it, and then as time goes on, you start remember all other things.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what happened though. You know?
I mean, that could have been. They didn't really explain that part, but I kind of I think it just goes with an assumption of it.
Yeah. Now the daughter was helping him get ready for was it a job? Was it a job interview or
job interview?
Yeah, because he wanted to be a photographer.
It was a job interview, but it was his job already.
Yeah. It was almost like he wanted or something.
Yeah. Okay. Like he wanted to keep his job.
Yeah, it's like you know, like photographers, like if you love Spider-Man, how he always had to come with like, I got these photos to pay me for these photos. So it was more like a job like that. You like gotta convince him. Because remember she was like his whole thing was trying to remember how to take pictures. He didn't capture. Yeah, he didn't remember how to even capture a photo.
Yeah, but would that be muscle memory too, or is that different?
But it's like you have to, you know how to take a picture, but you have to remember what a good picture looks like.
Yeah.
Because as a photographer, isn't there like certain settings that they have their camera on and angles that they do? So it's like, you know, something that
it's like a certain eye only a photographer can see out of.
Yeah, unlike anybody could drive, learn how to drive.
Right.
Yeah, photography, you really have to really, you know, know what you're doing.
And if you have like if you have like something about the way that you do something, you'd have to remember how you do it. So if he doesn't have any memory, he's not going to remember what it is that he does to capture photos like he normally
and I
does.
feel bad for him in that scene where he's like in there, like trying to convince. It's like, and it's weird because you walk in, this lady already knows you, but you're looking like, hi, my name is, you know, that got to be weird as fuck. And then he's trying to convince her, like, look at these, but he doesn't even know what he's talking about because he's not a real photographer. But he's been told this is what you do. It's like somebody told you, like, yeah, you build TVs, so you're trying to put together a TV. You know what the fuck you're doing, but you know this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say it, but like, isn't it kind of explained in spoilers later, like why he can't really be he didn't know how to be a photographer,
right?
Not making mistakes. So yeah, I guess we'll get to that later. Explain why.
Yeah.
So why there's no muscle memory there?
Yeah.
I guess.
Why it doesn't register? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get to that later.
Yeah. So he drops her off at school, and then he goes to his job to try to see if his photos are going to be bought. And she tells him, you know, your eye is not the same. Like you're not capturing photos like you used to. And then he like loses his mind in the car, and he just starts like yelling and hitting the steering wheel. And then he goes to the hospital to meet up with his friend, this sexy dude right here.
Oh God.
Really? I didn't even think. He caught your eye.
Oh my God.
So
there's nobody even sitting there.
Huh?
What?
So there's nobody even sitting there.
Right there.
Oh, that is him.
Yeah, I was like, what's the joke?
Yeah,
that was a he's dark skinned black joke.
Yeah. I remember the main guy from this was from. Did you see that movie Underwater?
No, I saw that he was in that though, because I was looking him up.
What's Underwater?
Some information on him.
It's a sci-fi horror film.
No, the main guy was from the wine movie that we were talking about.
Yeah, that's the only thing I saw him in. It's called Uncorked.
Yeah, Uncorked. He was like a wine connoisseur.
Yeah, his dad is Courtney B. Vance, and they have like a family restaurant. And of course, you know, family restaurant, you want, you know, your kids to, you know, continue on with the business, but he wants to go do his own thing and be I forget what the term is, but
It's
it's
like a
somebody that
professional
does
wine
wines.
taster.
Or not just
Yeah.
like just a wine, like a wine like connoisseur. Is that what you call it?
Mhm.
Like if you go to a restaurant and you like ask them about the wines, they could tell you everything about it. Like
Right.
and that's he wants to have a career in that. So it was pretty good though.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
How do you feel about him in this movie as the main guy?
I liked him.
I like
thought
him
he was
too.
good.
I did too. Yeah.
I think
was
he
convincing.
did the both, or not getting too far in it, but like the roles, like he did really good at like going back and forth.
Yeah,
Starting
yeah,
from one and
yeah,
then getting
yeah.
to the next. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
yeah. I'll say yeah.
Because they had some tough scenes in there, like, damn, how does he do that? But it's like he's not really him.
Mhm.
But it's like you just think about it, like,
Yeah.
damn, if you were him, that's pretty fucked up to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so yeah, so he goes to the hospital and he meets up with his friend, the doctor friend, and his friend asks him if he has considered doing the research study, which was the voicemail he had got earlier, seeing if he would do it. So he takes him to the research study is being held in the same hospital that his friend works in. So his friend takes him to the department where this Dr. Brooks, who's running it, so he can meet with her. And she works with like memory loss and like people that are brain dead, like bringing them back. Like she was trying to develop like some kind of program to help.
She had an infomercial on where they were showing like she brought some guy back or something like that.
It was like a what do they call those things where you like do something in front of a group of people, like a presentation type of thing?
Yeah, like a presentation.
Yeah. So you see a TV playing that, and then he catches that before he goes in to meet with her. And he meets with her, she sits down with him and starts going over what happened. So he was in a car accident. His wife died in the accident, and he was so damaged that his frontal lobe, he was brain dead and his frontal lobe was damaged, and that's what caused the memory loss.
Right.
And then she said that he was he was brain dead for 3 days, and on the third day he regained consciousness
randomly.
Yeah. So this is everything she's just laying out as she's meeting with him.
But no, she didn't say he was brain dead, because the friend kind of found that out. Like, how the hell did you bring him back from being brain dead?
No, when she was talking to him, she was like circling certain points in his little write-up, and it said brain dead, and she circled it.
Oh, I thought so his friend didn't know what happened to him then.
He knew, but not to the extent. Like, I don't think, because you see him later looking at like the head scans and
that's
X-rays
when
stuff.
He saw brain dead, and that's when he like flipped out.
Yeah, and also based on their conversation that they had, something triggered and was like, okay, let me look into this more. So
right,
I think that's what caused that to happen. So one thing she does say to him is that she understands what it's like to how devastating it is to lose someone you love. So she made it a point to say that to him before she put him under hypnosis.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought she was just good at what she does. I thought she was just good at what she does. I didn't.
Yeah, and the doctor, she's from, was it The Cosby Show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I remember she looked familiar.
Yeah.
Just want to make
Felicia
sure.
Rashad,
Yeah. Okay.
So she puts him under hypnosis because she says she wants to test his the pathway to his memory, because she feels like the device that she's created can help bring somebody's memories back based on just like certain trials that she does with them.
Yeah.
So she puts him under hypnosis, and he's like, this gave me Get Out vibes. When this whole scene happened, I thought Get Out, because it was like,
when she does the hypnosis,
yeah, and he's in the dark room, and it was like what is it called in Get Out?
The dark place, the
Fallen or whatever.
The sunken place.
The dark place. Sunken
place. Yeah. Sunken place.
So it gave me those feels. Mm-hmm. So he's in the dark room, and she hears him talking because he hears somebody. You hear all these this crunching and stuff, and then a hand grabs him, and then he comes up out of the hypnosis, and she can't believe that happened so quickly. So she's just like in total awe and shock, and just holding back her excitement.
Yeah, and while he's in hypnosis, he has like this little watch that can make him go from. Was it?
That's when he's in the black box.
Well, yeah, he's in the black box, but like
Yeah.
while he's in there, he has this watch that can.
No, but she's talking about the hypnosis before that, because remember she hypnotized him on the couch before that.
Yeah, just a test run type thing.
Yeah,
because that's when the monster from earlier or whatever attacked him. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm thinking about the thing that happens later.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
So we got kind of like a taste of. So we already saw the hands choking him in the beginning, but now we see like it's something else that's going on, and we saw it in the hypnosis thing. So he goes home. Well, actually, I think we just see the daughter standing outside of the school with her teeth, and then it cuts to him at home.
Yeah, okay,
He forgot to pick her up.
Yeah.
Remember, he's so bad he forgot to pick his daughter up. So the teacher brings her home and then threatens him, I'm going to call CPS if you do this again, because this is the third time. So it happened multiple times. And then
and that's she's like, I'm sorry. Or she's like, I'm sorry I make you mad. He's like, what are you talking about? She was like, yeah, you got really, really mad at me yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. What did she say? Something about frustrated. I'm sorry that you're frustrated with me because you yelled at me yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she tells him she punched a hole in the wall, right?
No, I think he mentions it later when he's talking to his friend.
But I thought she said it. I thought she said that's why that hole's in the wall, or you punched that hole in the wall. Maybe I'm tripping.
I don't remember. I don't remember her saying anything about that, but she did say you yelled at me. I do remember her saying that.
Because remember when he woke up, he also had the casting on his hand.
Yeah, the wrap, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why I thought she said it. And then he asked his friend later on, and his friend was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "You ain't violent. You've never punched anything in your life."
Yeah. You call him soft. He's like, "You're soft."
Yeah, he said, "You're soft."
It's like she's like,
Because
so they have that.
Like, I punched the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They have that conversation, and then she says that she has to make dinner because who else is going to? So she's taking on the role of just being the woman of the house, period.
Yeah.
And she's like, what, 9 or 10?
Something like 10 or 11.
9, 10, 11. So she's really young. So based on that conversation, because he when he came out of the hypnosis, he told the doctor he would think about it. So then after him forgetting his daughter at school and her crying and saying, I'm responsible for feeding you because you're not going to do it, he decides, okay, I'm going to do this study. So then we see him meet up with Dr. Brooks, and they go into the lab that has the black box. She connects him to the black box and explains everything. It's an EEG that processes his memories and sends it to her little device thing. So that way she can put him in memories and he can try to remember stuff. So she gets him all.
No, I want to ask, did she say she could see what he's seeing in his dream too?
No, she can't. She can't. And she can't talk. She can talk to him when he's in the safe room.
Yeah. Yeah.
She can talk to him in the safe room, but not when he's in his memories. And he can't walk out of the door in the safe room because then she loses complete communication with him.
It's like it's not even communication. It's like he loses his memory permanently. It's like he loses his did they call it? It's not a self-conscious, is it?
His conscious.
He loses his consciousness if he steps out of the room. She's like, if you step out of this room, then you basically gone forever.
Yeah, and I can't do anything for you. So she has him create a safe room, and it's Ava's room. And then she tells him to imagine the watch, and he does. And the watch he could turn it to go to the next memory. He could turn it back to go to the previous one.
Wait, and it wasn't Ava's room.
Because remember when we saw him walk into her room, she was at a vanity table and she was like laying there crying. The safe room had that same vanity table and a bed next to it.
No.
And then there was pictures. And then there was pictures of Ava and him and the wife.
Was it? I thought it looked like he walked into a room from him being a child. That's what I thought it was.
That was unless he had girly stuff in his room.
I didn't even see girly stuff. I must have been tripping.
The first thing you see is the vanity that she was sitting down crying at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's Ava's room. He's got the watch, and then if he pushes it, I think pushing it takes him into the memories, and then pushing it brings him back out.
I thought she said he had to say something. She didn't say you have to say something to come back to this room.
I don't think so.
She said if you say these words, you'll be back in this room. Because she told him a phrase. She said repeat this phrase before you even go into the black box.
I thought he was supposed to say that phrase if the thing was coming at him.
No, she said you're supposed to say I'm brave and some shit.
No, that's
my dream and I'm brave.
That's when the monster's coming at him, or the thing. She's supposed to say, I run my mind, it does not run me.
Yeah, but there's another phrase he's supposed to say if he wants to come back to a safe room. I'm telling you.
That's what he says when he starts to freak out because the thing's coming at him.
There's another phrase though. She said, say this.
So.
There is. She said, say this, you come back to the room. I know I'm right on this. I know I'm right.
And I don't remember.
When you post it, the clip's going to be in there where she says, say this.
If that thing shows up again, you just say to yourself, I run my mind. It does not run me.
I know I'm right now.
So he goes into his memories. And the first one he's in is a wedding. So it's him at the altar. And then the bride is in front of him and he goes to lift up the veil and there's no face.
No face.
And he looks at the pastor, there's no face. He looks in the audience or whatever you call them, whatever. They have no faces either. Mm-hmm. So then all of a sudden you hear the bone crunching that you heard earlier. Huh?
I said, and then a break dancer comes up the aisle.
What do they call that? The dancing with the bone breaking?
Bone breaking.
I thought it was called something.
That's what it's called, bone breaking.
There's another word for it too. But yeah, so we hear all that. And then we see a figure, a body like contorting and stuff and coming out of one of the pews and coming up towards him, and he freaks out and he gets out of the memory. Right. And I don't think he goes to the safe room. I think he completely comes out of it. And then she confronts him and she was like, what told him, yeah. So he starts telling her what he saw. And he said she thinks that it's his brain trying to protect him from his trauma. So that's she just keeps saying that it's your brain trying to protect you.
He's freestyling it.
Yeah, but she needs him to stay in the memories longer, not let the thing scare him, because staying in longer would help him regain his consciousness and his memories.
Yeah.
So, but he goes back home and his doctor friend comes over with food and is asking him, how did it go? Because it was the same day. So
yeah.
So they're talking and everything, and then Ava comes into the room that they're in and sees the iPad with the picture of her mom and flips it over, and he's looking at Nolan, like kind of like eyeing him and looking at her like comfort her, like what are you doing? And he doesn't move, so then he comforts her himself.
Right.
And then
you know what? I got a suspicion in that moment. I was like, the doctor had something to do with his wife.
The doctor friend?
It would kind of make it, for some reason, it would make it seem like he was kind of like, all right, you tried this. He kind of didn't want him to do it at first. Mm-hmm. And then when he starts telling him what's happening, it's like he kind of is like, doesn't want him to do it, but he's telling him to do it at the same time.
So you were wondering why he was pushing him so hard?
Yeah, I was wondering what the doctor was up to. And these type of movies normally it'd be like, oh, this guy double crossed type shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you, because I had a prediction. I'll tell you at what point and what it was, but what were you about to say, Doc?
I thought like all these were like, you ever see Shutter Island when they're like people pretending to be people they're not? Mm-hmm. So I thought they were going in that direction where the friend was actually not really a friend, just an actor, or the daughter. Like,
well, since you said it.
Oh, shit!
That was your prediction.
That was my prediction too. Yeah.
Oh, damn!
I didn't get that vibe. I didn't get that one.
I'll tell you at what point I thought that, but yeah, that's kind of where I was going with it too, Josh.
Oh, okay.
I was like, they're detectives and they're trying to get him to confess to something.
Yes, they were like confess or remember something that like there was this like that's what kind of made me like, okay, where's this going?
Yeah.
Until I finally understood. what it was.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Yeah.
So then we see him looking at photos. I think he's on the iPad, the same one that the daughter flipped over. He's looking at photos, and you see a picture of the wedding, and it doesn't look like the wedding that we saw when he was in the black box.
Yeah, because it's
I
like
don't know
outside.
if you guys keep that.
It's outside and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think in the memory, the pastor's white. I think you could tell it's a white priest, but in the picture he's looking at, it's a black pastor.
There was like everything was different about it.
Yeah, I think even the color of his suit was different.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I thought that when I first saw it, I was like, that's not how it looked, but it still didn't register
I thought that
with
immediately.
me.
I was like, oh, that's not his wedding. I was like, that wasn't his wedding.
Yeah, I didn't think that, but I was just like, why did it look different?
I thought instantly. I thought something happened in his mind to where he was seeing like killers, like memories. Like, I thought it was some shit like that. After I accused the friend of doing it, then I kind of got the vibe like, oh no, he's just being a friend. Then I was like, okay, so they're putting killers' memories in his head to figure out these murders type shit.
Oh.
Yeah. This movie actually reminded me of like an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, it was like a long episode of Black Mirror.
Black Mirror, yeah. So I kind of didn't know, like, they didn't say like what time it was in. It was just kind of like, I guess,
present day.
Present day.
You can tell it was kind of present day. You can tell that much at least.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a futuristic.
No.
No.
Besides the black box, no.
Well, you know what I mean? Like it could be like pre, like futuristic
major
stuff.
technology,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like nothing like, you know, in certain movies where cars are flying or there's like certain
not
things,
that
you know
far
what I mean?
in the future.
Not like
I know what he means. He means
Upgrade.
like movies that when it's like based on 2055 to where it's supposed to be like this whole. It's like normal life, but it's upgraded to where a bunch of different futuristic shit is going on.
Yeah, or like you remember that movie Upgrade?
Yeah,
Lamar. Yeah, somewhere around that time too.
Yeah, it's like future, but it's normal.
So on the trailer, because I actually watched the trailer today, it says from the people that brought you Get Out and Upgrade.
Oh, that's crazy.
So that makes
Upgrades
sense.
Blumhouse. Upgrades Blumhouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, I do like some Blumhouse films.
Just not the good ones.
It's kind of just.
Anyway,
let's keep moving on.
It's hit or miss.
Or guilty pleasure, you know.
Unless it's a black man trying to get a point across, then you don't like it.
Especially when the lead actor is really more. I mean, you know, let's move on.
Let's move on.
I think the guy that played in this guy is a better actor. To be like you said, Atashi, he has to play both roles because of. Well, we'll get to that eventually, but yeah, like that's something you really have to like.
I don't know if I agree with that. Let's just move on.
After we see the wedding picture, we see him because they had Chinese food. His friend brought over Chinese food, so he picks up a chopstick and he starts like twirling it in his fingers, and he starts having memories. And it's him with the chopstick, and it's a little girl's hands, and then the menu. We see the menu, so he sees what the name of the restaurant is. So he takes Ava to the restaurant and he's like, I brought you here when you were like 3. This was your mom's favorite place.
Yeah.
So they have this whole moment or whatever. So then when he goes back to the lab, he's telling the doctor about, going there. And she's like, so where did you go? And he tells her and she kind of like looks like shocked. So
she's like, she tried to play it off.
Like, oh, you didn't bring me any? She tries to play it off. Yeah. So she's preparing to get him back in there, and she's like, stay a little bit longer, and if you see that thing again, say, I run my mind, it does not run me. And then he repeats it. So he gets into his memory and he's on a bed holding a broken hanger, a broken like plastic hanger, and there's a baby crying and it's dark. It's like a dark room. Then he walks out, picks the baby up. The baby has no face. And then he looks outside and sees a green gate. Then he looks up and he sees a building. And then he hears crying, like sniffling. So he goes into the room and he sees a woman there with no face.
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen. And her arms are all bruised up. So Then you hear the bone crunching again, and you look, and that figure's coming out of the crib.
Yeah.
And then coming towards him, and he grabs him at the throat, and then he comes out of it. So he's back at the lab, and he tells the doctor that he felt that it choked him. He was like, I felt it choke me, and she can't believe it. She's like,
yeah,
like
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy that you felt that. And then he says that he saw the baby, he saw Ava as a baby, and he saw his wife, but he's confused because it wasn't the house, it was an apartment. And he's like, as far as I know, I've always, since we've had Ava, or since I've been with her, we've always lived in a house. So why am I having a memory in an apartment?
And I automatically assumed in that scene, I was like, oh, he had a second family. I was like, he's cheating on his wife, and that's a second family.
What I saw in that scene when he was coming out of the crib, I was like, that's him. Like, that's his body coming out of the crib.
Katrina said that. She said, oh, that's him. That's like another version of him.
Yeah, because it was wearing the same clothes and everything, a white shirt. And then it made me think of the wedding. And I was like, oh, that the body had on a blue suit. So like, somehow this is him.
Mm-hmm.
So the next scene is where I had the thought that it was they were trying to make him remember, because we saw the bruises on the woman's arm. So I was like, okay, so he was abusive to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe something happened with his wife. Maybe he actually killed her and it wasn't an accident. And since he can't remember, they're trying to get his memory to come back. So that's like where I thought it was going.
Like a confession.
Yeah. And I thought the friend was in on it too. So
yeah.
Did you think that sooner, Josh? Or huh?
That the friend was an accomplice, or was setting him up for the
was like part of the trying to figure out what happened,
okay.
like a detective or something like that, acting like he was his friend.
Yeah, well, I kind of did think that a little bit sooner, because the way that they were acting with him. Then again, it was just them trying to like help him out because he has amnesia and has a hard time remembering things. But then again, this ain't just a regular movie about helping the guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, there's something else there. Like, it's known as like a horror / like sci-fi movie, whatever. So there's gonna be some type of twist in there that I was waiting for. So I wasn't right, but there is a twist that we're gonna get to in a bit. Yeah.
I'm glad when I don't guess it. It's that much better when I think it's going one way and it totally goes another way. So I was happy that I didn't get it right.
Yeah, I do like that too when it makes sense. Like, when you go a different way and it's some stupid shit, it's like I'd rather be, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather be right and it makes sense than like them just, trying to catch me off guard. But it is better when they go in a different direction, and it actually is better than what you thought it was.
And it's a good twist. It's not a all the way out of bounds. This doesn't make any fucking sense twist. Like sense twist. Like it was a good twist that made sense.
Right.
Yeah. That made sense.
So he So he goes to see his friend Gary. His name is Gary. And he's like distraught, and he's asking him, did I ever hit Rachel? Rachel's the name of his wife that died. So he's like, did I ever hit her? And Gary's like, no, like you didn't even like boxing, and you're a butterfly, and you're a punk, and he's trying to make jokes and stuff. But Nolan's just like totally.
He was like, no, he said, don't take offense to this. He's like, man, you soft, man. He was like, no offense. He didn't want to hurt his feelings by saying it. He's like, you soft, man. Yeah, you bitch.
You ain't shit. That's like the worst you can tell, man. Not like you a bitch, whatever it is. Like all this other stuff, but somebody ain't saying you soft. That hurts. That hurts the ego, the male ego right there.
Like, I'd rather you call me a bitch. Don't call me soft.
Yeah.
Soft? Yeah. We call me an asshole. Call me a jerk. But don't call me soft.
But under that, from that scene on, I thought he had another family. Like, I thought they were going to get to a scene where his wife caught him cheating, and then they had an argument, and that's how the accident happened. That's where I thought it was going to go.
I did think that maybe he had an affair, and it, resulted in a baby.
Yeah, I kind of did think that he had something to do with his wife's accident for being abusive, since they're hinting at him being very,
he gets angry too. Like, he punched the wall, because I think he even tells Gary that in this scene. He's like, I punched a wall.
Yeah.
I think that's where he told him that, or I don't know, maybe he told him earlier, but yeah, so we see him freaking out in the car when he doesn't get the job or the payment for the photos.
Mhm.
So we're seeing all of this stuff. So it makes you think like, well, maybe he has something to do with his wife's death.
Yeah.
So he goes to pick up Ava from school, and as he's waiting for her to come out, he's on his phone and he's trying to find the building that he saw in his memory. So he finds the town. I don't know how he found that building, but he finds the town, puts it in the GPS. It's like an hour away. So him and Ava go on a trip to go find this place. And he's driving around. He doesn't know exactly where he's going, but then he sees the green gate that he saw
green fence
when he was in the thing. And then he looked nearby and saw the building he was looking for.
Right.
So he gets out the car and he leaves her in there. So he's walking away and he locks the door and she's like, Dad.
Oh yeah. That's messed up, but like damn.
Yeah.
Or it's like his mind is so fucking gone, he can't remember shit. Sometimes it's like, how do you forget that at least?
Yeah.
So they go into the building. He takes her into the building and he looks at the stairs and he has a flash of a body falling down the stairs.
Yeah.
So that prompts him to go up the stairs, and it leads him, he just goes straight to the door. He goes straight to the door.
Yeah, it's like
knocks.
he doesn't know how he knows, but he knows it's the door.
You know, but he did say, he did tell Dr. Brooks that when he was in his memory in the apartment, everything was familiar. He's like, I've been there before. Like, I knew where everything was. Everything was so familiar to me.
Yeah.
So he goes right to the door, knocks on it. A little girl who's older than Ava opens the door.
Was she older?
I think she was older. I think she had to be like 12.
I thought they were like around the same age.
Yeah,
like,
she looked
It
older.
seemed like they were around the same age.
I mean, maybe a little older, but not
much
big,
older,
not big,
but yeah.
not a big ass age gap.
Yeah. I don't think she was like 15 or anything, but if Ava's like 9, 10, I would say this little girl was like 11, 12. So she opens the door, which I was like, you're not supposed to do this little girl opening this damn door. So he's asking to talk to her mom, and then she leaves the door open to go get her mom, and he kind of walks in a little bit and sees the kitchen from his memory, and then I think he sees the wallpaper.
Yeah.
And then he looks and the woman's like getting up from the couch, and then he runs out.
Right. Because I think her hair was like the same. I want to say her hair was the same.
Yeah, from like, she was very, she resembled Rachel, which is Nolan's wife. They kind of resemble each other, especially when you're looking at like a,
That's what, the one thing I noticed was the difference of the hair. Because when he first saw her in the kitchen bruised up, she had no face, but her hair wasn't the same as his wife. So that's what I noticed from that first scene. So I'm like, it's not the same woman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because if like the silhouette is kind of like you think it's the same person, but there's certain things like, like, no, I don't think that's the same person.
Yeah, it was like the hair, and then she was a little darker skinned.
Yeah.
Now if she was white, you can be like, okay, that's not the same person.
Yeah, that's completely different.
But yeah. Like, I guess I kind of just thought like maybe there's different hairstyles or whatever. I don't know, but like I was just still focused on like why is the faces are blurred out? Like they're blurred out still, right? So I think I was focused on like why is the face blurred out right now? If those are supposed to be his memories.
Right.
Yeah, and if he's got pictures of his wife all over the house, how is he not seeing her face in his memory?
Yeah.
That you know something was twisted about it, but you don't think about it in the moment.
No.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
No,
I sure didn't. I was like, oh no, this is a detective story. This is where it's going.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Shutter Island. Nobody got faces.
For real.
So he leaves the apartment building, and then he goes to see Gary again and gives him the address. So Gary writes it on his hand, and they focus on that. So it lets you know, okay, that's coming back later.
Right. This will be back around.
Yeah. So they have a whole exchange. He's telling him about it, and he's like, did I have an affair? Like, I'm, wondering all these things. So then that's what prompts Gary to look into his x-rays and stuff. Cause he's like, why is he having these memories, like what's going on with him, like what happened
Right.
to his brain in that accident. So he's looking it up, he's looking at the records and everything, and it says that him coming out of the being brain dead was an anomaly. Suspected brain death. He was transferred to neuro eval, and then he regained consciousness.
Right.
So
It was
Gary's like,
quick.
this doesn't make sense.
It was like back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. So he goes to a doctor that I guess worked that night, like worked on Nolan or whatever, and is asking him like, you know, tell me exactly what happened. So he tells him, and he was like, so yeah, Dr. Brooks saw him that night. And Gary
He said it like
stunned.
that. He said, thank God Dr. Brooks was here to save him.
Yeah, so Gary was like, I didn't even know she saw him that night.
Yeah.
So so Nolan, while this is happening, Nolan is at the lab doing another round. I guess he's like, you know, like I gotta figure out what's going on. So he's like determined to get in there and stay in there. So he's back at the wedding first. The body's contorting and coming at him, and he's holding on. He's like, you know, he's not getting scared. He's sitting there, and the body stands up and slaps the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Slapped him so hard he went through another memory.
I forgot about that. Everybody slapped this.
No, he slapped him and then he went back to the safe room. That's what happened.
Yeah, back to the safe room. I forgot about that.
Slapped the hell out of him. But like I said, he's determined. So he goes into the apartment memory and he's walking around and everything. The figure's coming out of the crib. He kicks the shit out of the figure and the figure like lays out. And then he's in there long enough now that the the figure, the silhouette, the woman walks out of the kitchen and the face is like starting to try to become like visible.
Right.
So he goes to next he's in a hospital bed. And I think he goes to the wedding. He goes back to the wedding first.
He sees all the memories that come back and like but there's faces. Like the faces are coming in. I think like they were starting to develop, so now they were shaking a little bit, but you can see the face.
Yeah.
And then the last one is like the hospital bed, I think.
Yeah, so he's in the hospital bed and he starts to flatline. And as he's flatlining, her face becomes visible. But while he's in the memory and he's flatlining, his stats are all messed up. So Dr. Brooks sees it and she's like, "Where are you?" Like she's talking to him, but she knows he can't hear him. And she's like, "Where are you?" And then he goes to the apartment, sees her face, goes to the wedding, sees her face.
Right.
And this isn't Rachel. This is somebody completely different. Then he's back in the safe room and you don't see him. You just see like the lower half of his body and you hear a man say, "These are not Nolan's memories." And then he goes to the window or whatever and you see a reflection and it's a totally different dude.
Because he's like, "It's mine."
Yeah.
And then he starts looking around. Okay, so that was the same room, right?
Yes, this because he's looking around and he's seeing Ava's pictures.
No, the room becomes clearer and then it's his room. I'm telling you, I'm right about this. This is his room. It's not Ava's room. It was his room. Because I thought it was him as a kid. I was like, this must be his safe room as a kid.
No, because there's pictures of the wife. There's pictures of Rachel, Nolan, and Ava on the wall.
I don't know, man. I'm going to see this.
I watched it twice. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's Ava's room. Because like I said, there's a vanity in there. And then there's pictures of the family. So the guy comes, he's like thinking, he's like, all of these memories are coming back to him. And he's at the sushi restaurant and he looks up and it's Dr. Brooks.
Yeah.
So then he says, "Mom," and he says it like out loud so she can hear him. So she knows it worked because she calls him Thomas.
Excited. Yeah.
Yeah. So she brings him out of the black box. And she's telling him, like, because he's like freaking out. He's like, "What did you do?" You know, he's looking at his reflection because he's actually Nolan in real life. Like his body's Nolan. So she says that he actually died 2 years prior.
Right.
So he fell down the stairs. They did everything they could to save him, but they couldn't. But in the meantime, they connected him to an EEG and like uploaded his consciousness. So
And in that whole explanation, I developed in my mind the story. I was like, he was a good guy. His wife killed him. This is what I thought. I said his wife pushed him down the stairs, and I was like, and his mom kind of saved him, but he's really a good guy. So I'm like, she saved his life. And I was like, when the mom told him like, this is your second chance at marriage. So I'm thinking he's gonna take his daughter that he had now and like bring the family together. The ending I pictured in my head, like, oh, it's gonna be the happy ending.
so how do you explain the bruises on her arms?
I didn't think about it. I kind of took all of that out of my mind. Because I took it back to the flashbacks where they're happy, and then you see when he's in the hospital, the wife's walking, but she looks mad as hell while she's pacing. So I'm like, she killed him. This is what I'm thinking, like, oh, she killed him. That whole time. I was like, she's evil and she killed him. Because even when she has the bruises on her arm, when she's in the kitchen, she's not, I didn't really pay attention to the whimpering. I thought it was like I killed him, like his final draw type shit.
Oh no, he was beating her ass because when he walked up to her, she like cowered back.
It didn't seem like she saw him when he walked up.
Yeah, because he walked up and then she turned around and then she kind of like went back like this. As if like somebody's coming at you and you're like backing up.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
She was doing, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So she said he died 2 years prior. And the body that he's in, Nolan, was in a car accident 3 months prior and was brain dead. And she was like, it was just perfect timing. So that's why she took him, when they pronounced him brain dead, she took him to the lab, connected him to the black box. And she said he grabbed her hand, which let her know it worked. She just had to work on getting his memories back.
All right. So when she uploaded his consciousness to Nolan, but Nolan, he's lost in the sunken kind of, right? Since
because he's
sunken place.
He's technically not supposed to be
place.
there. Yeah, it's technically like an empty brain she's supposed to use for her son.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then that's when she tells him, "You have a second shot to make it right." So, upon watching it the first time, you don't really know. Like Lamar, you had your thought of what it was.
Yeah,
but it was like. So she knew that he was a horrible husband and a horrible father. So that's why she was like, you have a second chance to make it right, basically.
Right. But when she said that, I kind of took it as he was a good guy. And she's just trying to give him a second chance because, like, she saved her son. Like, it makes it seem like it's like a glory story. Like, I saved you. You weren't going to make it, but I saved you. And this guy wasn't going to make it anyway.
Well, when you say you have a second chance, usually it's like you have a second chance to do better or to make it better, which means
because she said you have a second chance at your wedding, like at your marriage,
at your marriage and
raising your daughter.
Yeah.
So it's like I mean you could take it either way, but I took it as he was going too soon, but he was a good guy trying. So like I said, I kind of ignored the whole domestic violence thing for the moment. I was like, oh, he must have been good trying to figure it out.
Or it could be you have a second chance at life because you died and then now you're back.
No, she said specifically, she said at your marriage and at raising your daughter.
Yeah, true.
Which, like at the moment, what she really meant is like try to not fuck up your marriage.
Yeah.
This time, but like, I could take it as like
try to keep your hands to yourself.
Your marriage. Yeah, but like you have a second chance. You almost died, but now you're here. Now you can be with the person you married.
Yeah, and then then the character sold it as him being a good guy because he was kind of like regretting, like, Mom, why'd you do this? Like that was his stance. Like, what did you do? Like you did something wrong. It wasn't like a thank you. It was more like he felt bad because remember he was like, well, what about the little girl? She was like, that's not your daughter. So it was like he felt bad. It made it seem like. That's why I was like, he must have been a good guy that died too soon and she brought him back. That's how he played it off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about this later. Like it seems like he does have good qualities in him.
Right.
But that's overpowered by the fucking...
Okay, so yeah. That's
but you know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm saying like... I'm taking everything moment for moment. So in this moment, this is how I felt. but then it didn't take long for me to feel a different way. But in this moment, I felt like he was going too soon, and it was like his marriage failed. His wife killed him, but like this is your chance to get. I even ignored the wife killing him part. It was more like he was going too soon, and his mom gave him a second chance on living life, kind of. And the guy that died was gonna die anyway. That's how I took it.
Mhm.
I
I was putting it together with the bruises on the arm and was like, okay, so because I already thought Nolan was the abusive one when I was thinking this was Nolan having these memories. So when we find out it's actually somebody else uploaded into Nolan's body, it was like, okay, he's the abuser. He's the abusive one. So I stuck with that even. And when she said you have a second chance, I was like, okay, yeah, he fucked up. But what really, the next scene is what really told me he's a horrible person. Because how he started treating Ava when he was like looking up and down the teacher as he walked by her, like, bitch, say something else.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's an asshole. So yeah.
And but like I said, even with that, it wasn't more of I didn't take it as him being a fucked up person. I took it as him being like, I kind of felt like his mom was influencing him. Cause like, remember when he's like, well, what about Ava? And she's like, that's not your daughter. So it's like, he felt like I can't raise you because I'm not your father. Because even like you remember after the scene with the teacher and shit, and he tells her she's too old for the seatbelt. It's like he's trying to be tough about it, and then he's like, "I'm dropping you off," and you see him sitting there like he's emotional while he's dropping her off, like he cares about her somewhat.
Oh yeah, where he's like,
when she writes on his hand.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a time where like he's smoking cigarettes. She's like, "You haven't smoked cigarettes." Like the daughter, like he's just not caring. Like I'm not.
Yeah, it's like I felt like since his mom said that, he felt like he had to do this. Like I have to push her away from me. It's not my daughter. I'm going to get my family back. So I felt like he didn't want to do that, but it's like I have to.
Yeah. You're not really my concern anymore because now I know who I am.
Yeah. So
not that, but it's not that he feels like you're not my concern anymore. It's like my mom told me I have to do this.
Yeah.
Like he was soft in that way.
Yeah. So like that's when after he found out who he really was, that's when he dropped his so-called daughter off to his friend's house.
Yeah.
And that's when he went to go visit, his second chance at marriage.
In that scene, it's like that's what the little girl was a great actor because she's like looking at him like damn, you don't seem like you care. And he's like, get out. And then she writes on his hand and then she gets out. I was like, that's a fucked up scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when he's all emotional, like he feels bad for doing it. That's why I was like, he can't be that bad.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I'm again, like there is something in there that could be good.
Yeah.
But and also later she mentions his father. Part of him. Like his mother is probably like the good side of him, and then his dad, who was abuser, was his bad side.
In that conversation, I didn't get that he was an abuser, but she did say, "Don't be like your father. Don't be forgotten." Like, so I don't know what the deal was with.
Well, because when she's saying don't be like your father, it's like if what he's doing that's ruining his marriage, she's doing it to save his marriage or trying to. So when she's saying like you have a second chance, don't mess this up, because should we get to that scene, the whole scene where he finally get to see the wife
and he fucks up his second chance.
Yeah, he does.
So before that, before he unveils to the there's a sequence where he's thinking of all these old memories, right? Before he even gets to tell the wife what was going on.
So he picks up Ava from school, has her pack up a suitcase, takes her to Gary's house. Gary's like asking him, what's going on, and I think he's crying when Gary's talking to him. Yeah. He does drive up and he stops and he looks in the rearview mirror and sees Ava.
Yeah.
But then he's at the apartment.
Yeah. Okay. So in that apartment scene before he goes, there's a scene before that where he's looking at all the memories. And while he's looking at the memories, I'm looking like, yeah, the wife and the daughter do not look happy in these pictures. Like I'm thinking about all that shit.
That was when he realized who he was. So when he was still in the black box.
Yeah, in that, I'm like, they look unhappy. But then when he comes to and the wife's talking, I'm like, I kind of ignored that too. I'm like, no, he's
See,
a good guy.
I didn't catch.
I erased all
catch
of that. I cut
didn't
it
catch
off.
that.
I cut it
just
off.
saw the pictures of him.
Because you see in the flashbacks, like he's like smiling somewhat, but they're like unhappy. You can see the daughter and the mom; they damn near look scared. Like we don't like being here.
Yep.
So I'm seeing all those in the flashbacks. This is when he's looking in the mirror, realizing this is him. And then he comes out, and it's like I ignored all that when the mom started talking. Like, this is your second chance. I ignored all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it had me like, damn, I don't know if this guy's good or bad until he gets to the apartment.
I thought it was bad the entire time.
Yeah. Well, like the way that he is, the way that Nolan, so-called Nolan is.
Yeah.
Like, how I thought like maybe there is some good in him, and that demon is that one, or that thing that attacks him in his dream is his inner demon trying to get out or something.
Yeah.
Like that's what's making him be the abuser, the demon.
Lash out. Yeah.
So he's got to fight that so he could be a better person.
Yeah, I thought that's what I was thinking. That's another one I thought they were gonna go with too, but I'm glad they didn't go with that.
But it changed my mind when he came out and the mom was talking to him. I was like, oh, that's the real Nolan. But when the mom was talking to him, I'm like, he's a good guy, but that's the real Nolan trying to get his mind back. And that's when that dawned on me right there. But I still wasn't seeing him as a bad guy. I just saw like Nolan's like fucked up because he's technically brain dead. So that's why he's coming back fucked up. He's not coming back normal. But this guy's like a good guy with a second chance he didn't ask for.
So did you think when we found out that it was actually Thomas in Nolan's body, did you have a feeling that the contorted body was Nolan, or did you?
Yeah, right when she said that. Right when she said, right when he looked in the mirror and was like, I am this guy. And he was like, Mom, what did you do? I'm like, that was Nolan trying to get back in. That's when it dawned on me that was him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what that thing is. That's why he keeps attacking him, because he's like, you're in my body. This is my body. Like,
right. It's like he's trying to get his body back.
Yeah.
And it's all contorted because he's brain dead. It's like he's not normal anymore.
Yeah.
So he Nolan goes to the apartment and he acts like he's a friend of Thomas's. And he starts talking to Miranda, is her name. And he makes it so that way she can invite him in, and they're talking, and he's letting her know, like, you know, the research that Thomas's mom was working on, it worked. And then he lets her know, I'm Thomas.
And that whole scene, I rode the roller coaster with that whole scene. So while he's explaining I'm Thomas, I'm like, he's a good guy. And the way she looked when she said I'm Thomas, she had to look like, I killed you. What are you doing here? And so I'm with him because he's like, hey, this is my second chance. We could do it again. And then you see him look up at the pictures, and I'm looking at the picture too. Like, I was like, hold on. And he looked at the other picture, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. It's funny, I was like, they weren't smiling. I forgot.
But he was like, before that, when he told her about like how his mom did worked, she still didn't believe him, and he's all like being hella sincere and saying like, when you get scared, I do this. Acting hella like concerned and caring,
like a nice guy. It was like he was a nice guy.
And then that's when you see all his pictures are taken down, and that's when.
What did he say? Concerned. He said he was like, I'm gonna make things right. I'm not gonna hurt you anymore. As soon as he says that, he looks at the wall and he was like, where's my I was like, oh shit.
That's when I thought back to it. That's when I thought back to it. I was like, oh, they weren't smiling in those pictures. I was like, they were terrified in those pictures. And then you see he's not in any of the pictures. That's when he's like, where's my pictures? I mean, you got all these pictures. He's walking around. And then
he said she even got rid of his bookcase and his like seating area.
They basically just got rid of everything. He's like,
just erased him. Yeah.
And then that's when my old mind came back up. Like, oh no, he's crazy. And that's when she goes back into being scared, kind of like making excuses for the moment. So I'm like, oh, she killed him for a reason. I'm still thinking she killed him, but I'm like, she killed him for a reason.
Yeah. Well, and now it all makes sense of him having these outrages. Punching the wall, like him remembering who he really is.
Because you see it happening. You see it. You see his aggression building up.
Yeah.
So that was like part of his subconscious, like of who he is coming out. Like when he gets angry, you know, he uses his fists. So
Mhm.
so he hears a noise come from the daughter's room, because when he got there, she had the daughter go to the room
Yeah.
until dinner was made.
Mhm.
So he hears a noise come from the room and he's like, oh yeah, my daughter, let me go see her. And she's like arguing with him, trying to fight him from going, but he gets over there and then she knocks him out. And then we see him, he's back at Gary's house and Ava's in front of him. So it just went from being knocked out and then he's in this place. So it's like,
I was under the assumption.
Questioning that.
Yeah, so I was under the assumption when he got knocked out, it was his conscience that was knocked out, and Nolan took over the conscience for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was thinking maybe that's why he went back to see his daughter.
So Dr. Brooks says what happened.
What'd she say?
So after he leaves Ava and Gary, he goes to his mom, and he's explaining to her what happened, and she says that what happens in the black box, you know, the safe room in the black box, pretty much happened in real life. So outside of Gary's house with Ava was the last place he felt safe. So his body just took him to where he last felt safe. Because in the black box, that's what happened. When he got scared, he went back to the safe room. So Ava was basically his safe room.
Right.
That's what happened with that. So even though he was unconscious, he was still, you know, functioning, and he got himself there.
Yeah, so he kind of like on autopilot, like where he just got knocked out, got up, crawled himself over, and drove to it. Because he drove to there, right?
Not like Wolf. What is it called? The Wolf. Wolf of Wall
no,
Street?
no,
Not like that.
I
think that's what I'm saying. I think when he did that, I think Nolan took over. I think because it's always a battle for the conscience. So when she knocked him out, Nolan's not knocked out; he's up. So it's like I think he took control of the body and went back to her, because it looks like he's kneeling down talking to her when he comes to.
Yeah.
So
it's this thing. Like, it's actually this.
Yeah. Right? Well, he came right there. Oh, but then he was passed out, and then he made his way there somehow, and then he woke up. I thought somebody might have dropped. I thought they might have dropped his ass off there, but like doesn't make sense because she wouldn't know where she lived.
Yeah. Because you see his car is like ahead and the door's open.
Yeah.
And then
he's like he got out and just fuck it, I'm here. It took a lot out of him. I mean, that's the type of thing I'm like, okay, I'll roll with that. You know what I mean? Like, because that's just like another. Like, how does that happen exactly? Like, how can we explain?
That's what I'm saying. I think it wasn't explained, but I think the real Nolan took over just for that moment because he was knocked out.
But then again, like, what happens to all the other ones? Other times he's been sleeping, or
he's never been knocked out though.
Yeah, and it's never been outside of the black box either. Everything happens in it.
But even in his dreams, it's like he's being attacked. So it's always a battle for the conscience. It's just that Nolan's weaker than he is. So that's why when he's pop locking, because you remember in the next scene when they meet face to face,
he's soft.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So it's like he's always there, but he'll never win. He'll never win that battle. He's not strong enough to win that battle.
Yeah.
So I think in that moment of being knocked out, it was what's the other guy's name?
Thomas.
Thomas was knocked out.
Yeah.
So Thomas was controlling. Nolan was controlling in that moment. So I think he somehow got to the car and went back to his daughter because they don't say what the interaction was. You just see him there with his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when Nolan gets full, wakes up, then that's when he drives back to his mom and not with he probably Nolan probably was gonna try to talk to his daughter or something or try to do something.
That's what I'm saying. It was like he took over.
Yeah, and then once Nolan or Thomas wakes up, takes control again and is gonna go drive to his mom's, and which we're about to talk about, I'm guessing, because this is like the final.
This is like the next scene, this final scene.
Yeah. So he gets to his mom. He tells her everything that happened. She says, usually that happens in the black box, and then she asks about the wife and the daughter. And he tells her they shut me out or they locked me out.
Yeah.
And then she looks at him and she's like, already? Like she knew he fucked up. Like she knew he went to his abusive way. She was like, already?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and he seemed like he was trying to get loud with his mom, and his mom wasn't having it.
Yeah, he was
Like, she
like,
was
babbling and everything. She was like, "Would you stop? I need to think." And then he just shut up.
Yeah. And then going back to what I said about, okay, like they don't really straight up say the father was, an abuser or whatever, or like
Yeah.
was like him. But I kind of like, if you're gonna refer to his father, like you say you don't want to be like your father, forgotten. Is it like, is he doing the same thing his father did?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why nobody's saying he's forgotten. You know what I mean? Like,
they didn't really dig deep into that.
Into
So
that.
I just, it's like, you
I
just want to know. You just want to know, like, is this an honest trade he's getting?
Yeah. So, but I just assume since she's saying, you're about to ruin your marriage, you want to be like your father who ruined his marriage. So, maybe his father ruined his marriage. I'm just guessing to be forgotten like that. To be forgotten like that, you had to do something really messed up. Not just some low life, not doing anything with his life. Like, you had to do something really messed up. That's what I think.
I don't really remember exactly what she said about the father, but I think she mentioned him being a doctor, being forgotten. So it was almost like, don't be a disgrace like your father. So I don't know exactly what she said, but
it all ties into him just being like a no good person.
Yeah. So she puts him back in the black box, but as that's happening, we see Gary with Ava, and he realizes he has an address on his hand. So he goes
before she put him in, she told him, you need to go in there and kill the thing that's coming at you. Remember, she was like, I want you to go in there and kill it.
Yeah, destroy it. Yeah, you have to go back in there and destroy it. But she's not saying what it is.
She's not saying it's him. She's just saying what that thing that's attacking you, that's the only way you're going to get over this, you go in there and kill it.
Yeah.
She was like, I want you to stay there until you kill it.
Yeah. So as they're preparing to do that, Gary looks up the address that's on his hand, and he says the address out loud, and Ava's like, "That's me and Dad went there like the other day or something like that." And then he finds an article of Thomas dying in that apartment building, and then he sees his name is Thomas Brooks.
Right.
So he's like Dr. Brooks.
Yeah.
So now Thomas is in the black box, and the safe room is different. Now it's the apartment.
Yeah.
So it's the apartment now, because you could see, this is where you see the pictures of the family pictures.
Yeah.
And Miranda looks terrified. Like, there's one picture.
They look fucked up. Like, he's like smirking or smiling, but they look like we fucking hate it here. And
their body language is like away from him. And so he's in his safe room. He unlocks the door, and then the contorted figure comes in, pop locking and bone crunching and everything. And then turns around, his face is blurry, but it starts coming into focus, and it's Nolan, and he just looks weak, just totally weak, like just, and Thomas starts just beating the shit out of him, whooping his ass, kicking his face, and just, then he goes to grab a knife, and he gets ready to, because I think, she can talk to him while he's in the safe room. So he's telling her, okay, I'm ready, you get ready to count me out, and he's got the knife. And as she's counting, he gets ready to stab Nolan, and then you hear, "Daddy, Daddy," and it's Ava and Gary there at the lab. So there's like all of this going on, and Thomas, it kind of dawns on him. He's like, "This is Nolan. Like, he's real. This is he's really here." So he's kind of tripping out. But then he attempts to do it again. He attempts to stab him again, and now he's got a flash of him and Miranda and their daughter, and him and Miranda are fighting. The daughter's trying to stop him. He kicks the shit out of her.
He kicked the Sparta kick right in her chest. I was like, that is a little girl.
He kicked the shit out of his daughter, and that was enough to make Miranda push him down the stairs. And that's how he died.
Back like Umbach and booted the shit out of her. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Damn.
Yeah. So he realizes he ain't shit. So he decides to walk out of the door, which is the door the dog that his mom said don't walk out of.
Yeah.
So he walks out,
you know, which I give him credit for acknowledging that he's a fucking prick,
Piece of
Right.
shit.
In the
asshole,
last
whatever.
minute. In the last
Yeah,
minute.
in the last minute, it's like, because he could have just fucking killed him right then and there. He could have been like,
Yeah.
that's, you know, I don't care. But then it was not. There was nothing there for him. His
Right.
marriage is all messed up, and his mom
It was
seemed
kind of
like
like,
she's gonna be
yeah, it was
controlling
kind of
him.
like, I'm killing you for what? Like, what am I going back to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Dr. Brooks doesn't know what's going on, but she ends up counting Nolan back in, thinking it's Thomas. And she goes to grab his hand, and Nolan lets go of her hand and then reaches out to Ava.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like Ava's like freaking out and trying to get to him, but Gary's like holding her back.
Yeah.
And then Nolan reaches out to her and she was like, "Get off me." Goes up to Nolan, grabs his hand, and then the handshake that Thomas was attempting with her the whole movie, Nolan finally does it with her, and she realizes this is my dad.
Yeah.
So Gary gets him out of the black box, takes him out of the lab, and then comes back in and destroys the black box.
Okay, so in that scene, he wasn't mad enough for me. I don't know
You
what
know,
it was.
yeah. Actually, you know, he like, because after he destroys it, it's like he destroys it. He's all, it's over now.
But he only destroys
like,
the
you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
thing. That's all he destroyed.
Yeah. Like there was no emotion to be like,
it wasn't enough outrage. Like she should have been scared of his like, oh, you, and I'm gonna get you fired. You're going to jail. It was none of that. It was just like you're wrong. He takes the black box and broke it. Over now. Like what? I mean, it just for me, he wasn't mad enough. I expect him to be way more angry than that. You took an oath. Like she don't give a fuck about that oath.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah. He did say that. Yeah,
He
could have also destroyed the other part of it too. Like I said, he only destroyed the eyepiece.
I understood. It was like that's the main piece. So I understood what he was attempting to do. But maybe if he was more angry, he would have destroyed more shit. But he just wasn't mad enough.
Yeah.
He's like, it's over.
Yeah.
It was like just that.
And that's it. And I'm leaving. I'm taking oath.
So we see Nolan, he's at home. He fixes Ava's hair because he used to do it tighter.
Yeah, Thomas didn't know how to do it tighter.
Yeah, Thomas didn't do it tight enough. So that was the end of them. We see Miranda, she's looking at a newspaper and she sees that Dr. Brooks was terminated from her position as doctor from the hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know if she got any jail time or whatever, but she was definitely terminated. And we see that Miranda and her daughter are packing up, so they're moving out of that apartment.
Yeah.
And then
the
ending is Dr. Brooks has Thomas's conscious, subconscious, whatever it's called, uploaded into a device. And it's like beeping, and then all of a sudden it's like activated.
She looked in and said, Thomas? I was like,
yeah.
Black
Box 2?
I can tell you, I thought she was going to absorb him into her conscience. When
that's what I thought was going to happen.
I thought was going to happen
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he going into her body, but then it just ended like that. So it's like, what are you? But the one thing they need to point out is the fact that she did bring him back from being brain dead.
Yeah.
Nolan was brain dead, so she did save his life, even if it was for the wrong reason.
It did work.
It worked.
Yeah.
So I mean, why not just take her, thing and do it correctly?
Yeah.
No. Sorry, scientists don't do it correctly.
She
they do
took
it correctly in their mind.
She took an oath.
That's just some bullshit people say so they can get past that.
I was like, she clearly broke the law. You think she give a damn about you shaming her for taking an oath? She didn't give a fuck about that oath.
Man, for real,
she just wanted her son back. That's all.
Yeah. She give a shit, and I understood it. I understood her point for doing it.
No friends, no husband.
But if you can bring your child back whether they fucked up or not.
You'll do it either way. You'll do it either way. Yeah.
Yeah. Pet cemetery, exactly. Pet cemetery.
That's different. That child, deserves to come back. But bringing an asshole back when you know they are, somebody that uses their wife.
She thought she could change them.
Yeah. When you're a parent, you're biased.
Yeah,
you are very
some people think, if you have a second chance, you're gonna change right then and there. That you're gonna realize it. Yeah,
and maybe he thought he could too, because maybe the whole thing with Ava and him getting emotional with her, maybe he thought he could, but once he saw that he was erased, he went right back to mean old Thomas.
Reverted.
Yeah.
Couldn't control that anger, but overall, I really liked it. I was like, okay, Lamar.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when I found out who Nolan really was, that's when I was like, okay, I understand where this is going, so I can really enjoy it.
I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because I still do that letterbox thing. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. It did give me Get Out feels, but it didn't make me like it any less. Like the whole going under and the transplant thing, it gave me Get Out vibes. But
I didn't. You know what? The crazy part is I didn't get those vibes from it. Like I did not get the essence of Get Out from it. I took it as a whole new movie. More so, not even Shutterbox though. It was more so of a
Shutter Island.
Sure, yeah, I know.
I mean Shutterbox.
I know
Shutter
what you mean.
But what I'm saying is, I didn't get none of that. All I got was I got the who done it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the feel I was getting through the whole movie. Like who's up to no good in this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I'm accusing everybody.
I think I got more of a Shutter Island and Black Mirror vibes.
Yeah.
Black Mirror
definitely.
Black Mirror definitely.
When I found out it was Blumhouse, I was like, oh, it makes sense why I'm thinking Get Out, because it's the same. But it didn't make me be like, oh, this is too much like Get Out. I don't like it. I still really liked it. I thought it was really good. And I liked the main guy too. I thought he was good.
Yeah, I definitely think he should be in more movies.
I think they're putting him on a path to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
And in Underwater, did he have piercings all over his face? Or was that another movie?
I think you're thinking of another movie.
Okay, because I was looking up his filmography and I saw a photo, and he's in a movie where he's like all pierced up, but I thought maybe he might be British or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
I would say, do you guys ever plan on seeing Underwater?
No.
I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
Okay. I mean, do you want to check it out, or do you care what I say?
Do you recommend it?
If you're into like a sci-fi horror movie that just gets to it, that's entertaining, I recommend it. If you want a little bit more depth to characters, no.
I'm saying, can you live without it?
No, yeah, I can live without it.
Okay, then I don't need to see it.
Okay. Because
so
obviously...
What were your overall thoughts of Black Box, Josh? Trying to
we're trying to wrap it up.
Trying to close this out so I can start recording. We can talk about other stuff.
I was gonna make a messed up joke because you said like he has piercings in his face. But we'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right. So I give it we're going by that letterbox. I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was, it's a solid film, and that's why I enjoyed it. I liked it. And maybe I'll watch it again sometime. Not anytime soon, but I'll watch it sometime in 5 years. Okay. No, I'm just kidding.
So Lamar, this was your suggestion. You want to say anything about it?
Oh yeah, I gave it a 4 just because it kept me guessing what's going on. I like being confused, and I like not being able to predict shit. I like to be wrong. You know what I mean? I don't like watching a movie and I'm right the whole time.
And it doesn't make you dislike it because you were wrong. You still
I like that I was wrong. It's another reason why I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because I was guessing everything, but I was wrong. So it's good because you always get that I know the end. Like you don't want to do that while you're watching the movie. Like I know where this is going.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Also you said there was movies where you wanted to predict something and they did something else. Were there ones where you thought like, oh, that's fucking stupid? Has there ever been like a movie like that?
You mean like a movie like that where the switch was actually stupid?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are. I can't figure it on top of my head, but I am positive there are.